can you say about this aeroplane and the team behind it? It's one of the most incredible stories in historic aviation, really. B-17 Preservation Limited, one of the private operators based at IW's first pass. When many thousands of these four-engine heavy bombers flew from American bases in East Anglia on bombing raids deep into the heart of the Third Reich and beyond. Their contribution, along with that of the other main American heavy bomber of World War II, the consolidated B-24 Liberator, was a crucial one. As I said, huge numbers of B-17 stationed in East Anglia. This year, it's worth remembering one of them in particular, a certain first B-17 whose crew was credited with completing 25 combat missions, which they did between November 1942 and May 1943. That crew, which was headed by Captain Robert Morgan, actually completed 29 sorties, but not all in that one aircraft. But that, as I said, was just one B-17. 12,731 of them were produced in total. The heroism of their crews during World War I, World War II even, was legendary. That's even more the case when you consider what conditions on these aircraft at altitude were like, even when they were protected by the escort fighters, the likes of the P-47 Thunderbolt we saw at the start of the show, and the P-51 Mustang. Of course, it was noisy up there, it was extremely cold, the crews had little armour protection, or indeed personal protective equipment about them, and that was before you even consider the threat of enemy action. The bomb doors coming open on this orbit, and there they are closing in. A smaller bomb bay on the B-17 than on, for example, the RAF's Avro Lancaster. A typical load for a B-17 at war would have been between 4,500 and 8,000 pounds, depending on the mission, which was less, not just than the Lancaster, but also the B-24 Liberator, one of which you can see in the American Air Museum here. That type also boasted longer range. This sole airworthy survivor in Europe was built in 1945 by Lockheed Vega at its plant at Burbank in California. Today, as I said, it's the sole airworthy B-17 in Europe. Ellie Sallingboe, its operator, and all the team on two engines to simulate the condition in which so many shot-up B-17s return from missions. We dedicate it to the members of the SallyB Supporters Club. You can do your your bit by signing up for the Supporters Club, either here today at their stand, which is just in front of where the B-17 is parked on the flight line, or by doing so online at www.sallyb.org.uk, and you'll be helping keep this aircraft in the air. A tremendous sight, as always, and here's another tremendous sight.